Prime Minister Narendra Modi today came out strongly against Pakistan for continuing what he called is Pakistan's proxy war of terrorism against India. The Prime Minister said that Pakistan had lost the strength to fight a conventional war, which is why it was resorting to these means. Addressing troops of the Army and the Indian Air Force on his maiden trip to Leh and Ladakh, Modi condemned the continuing proxy war by Pakistan. Srinjoy Chaudhary now joins us with more. Srinjoy, earlier there was an outreach from Narendra Modi to Pakistan beginning right from his swearing-in ceremony. But given the kind of violations we've seen from Pakistani troops over the last few months, clearly the Prime Minister here sending out the message that it's time India will also toughen its stand.
Clear signal by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has really made 2 points. One is that the proxy war is continuing because the Pakistani army does not have the ability to fight a conventional war against India. That point has been made very clearly. The second point, of course, the Prime Minister has said is that he stands by the troops who are in Jammu and Kashmir, who are in Ladakh, and particularly Siachen. Prime Minister has said very clearly that yes, these are difficult times, and these Jawans are there in difficult circumstances. Because, of course, the proxy war is going on. Siachen is probably the world's coldest battlefield and the highest. Now, the Prime Minister is making it very clear that everything will be done for the Jawans to ensure that their stay in the glacier and in these areas are more comfortable.
Absolutely, and also this sort of a muscular response from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, very significant given that the last regime, the UPA regime, had been criticized for having a very feeble stand vis-a-vis Pakistan, especially when it came to the issue of Siachen.
Yes, the important thing here, Prime Minister has clearly taken note of the fact that there have been a lot of firings, not just across the LOC in the valley, as is normal, but also across the IB, and there has been a spike in recent times to almost about 150 this year. That is the first thing. Secondly, there have been firings in, of all places, Dras, where it has not happened, and Prime Minister is not that far away from where the firing has happened. So you have firings in Dras, you have firings yesterday and day before yesterday, and that is the most surprising part, so much so that a brigadier level flag meeting has been called for, and India and Pakistan will have to sort out why these firings are going on from the Pakistani side.
Just stay on with me, Srinjoy, because also joining us is Maruf Raza. Maruf, what do you make of the message that Narendra Modi has sent out on his maiden visit to this area?
Well, the Prime Minister has called a spade, which is a good thing because our previous Prime Minister used to always, with Pakistan, take one step forward and then go one step back. I mean, after 26/11, Manmohan Singh said that Pakistan should not use terror as an extension of foreign policy. But then he was the one who went at every stage to extend a hand of friendship to them and begin talks. Now, as far as talks are concerned, as far as proxy war is concerned, there are two issues. One is Pakistan will continue to use proxy war as a tool of diplomacy to try and put pressure on India, to get India to listen to Pakistan's demands, which is basically eventually give Kashmir on a platter to them. They have not succeeded, and I don't think they will succeed with that. But that has become an article of faith with the Pakistan army from the days of Zia, and Musharraf further reinforced it as president and army chief when he said that I will continue to use strategic assets against India like the Taliban and other jihadi groups. Now, the second point to understand is that...
MOSPMO, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Maruf. MOSPMO Jitendra Singh also now joining us on the phone line. Mr. Singh, this is the message that the Prime Minister has given while in Leh Ladakh. And is this now going to be the stand of the Indian government as well, that if Pakistan continues with its misadventures, India will also not step down?
No, I think it's very heartening and encouraging that after a long time, Prime Minister from India has sent out a very clear message that India is not ready to put up with the kind of proxy war that is being launched by Pakistan, and by also saying that more number of Jawans have lost lives as a result of terrorism than to a war, conventional war. I think the Prime Minister has also expressed the government's concern about the well-being of the Jawans and the casualties suffered by them. And I think this is going to be a great moral booster for the forces of this country.
And especially it will come as a very huge morale booster, Mr. Singh, given that the previous regime was talking about demilitarization of Siachen. But here, the Prime Minister has spoken about how our army guards our borders, living in extremely difficult conditions, and the government recognizes the kind of difficulties that they are going through in the region.
Yes, I think these are very sensitive issues, and all the security concerns have to be taken into consideration before arriving at conclusions. And the Prime Minister and his government will take a structured view of all these issues, very objectively, very dispassionately, and the larger interests of the nation.
Mr. Singh, also given that now there is a recognition that Pakistan, with a depleted force, they are not able to wage a conventional war. They are not prepared for a conventional war against India. They are trying to continue with this proxy war, adhering to their old doctrine of trying to bleed India. How is this going to rework India's strategy vis-a-vis Pakistan? Are we going to see a reflection of what the Prime Minister said in India's future engagement with Pakistan as well?
No, frankly speaking, I would not like to comment on in detail on that, because that's also related to the security matters of the country. But having said that, I can hasten to add that at least for once, we have a very clear perception of how the things stand vis-a-vis Pakistan in the context of Jammu and Kashmir. And that is something which gave a confidence to the nation that the present government is looking at it in the right perspective.
Jitendra Singh, thanks very much for speaking 2 times now. The Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office saying that it's a clear message that the Prime Minister is sending out to Pakistan. Srinjoy Chaudhary is still with us. Srinjoy, the Prime Minister this time is focusing on development, but it's also significant how while he's gone to the valleys, taking a message of development, this also is a strong message that he sent out. I'll go to Srinjoy in just a bit, but Manish Tiwari of the Congress is also with us now. We'll try and get across to him in just a bit, but this is what we're getting to you right now. The Prime Minister, while in Leh-Ladakh, is sending out a terse message to Pakistan. Manish Tiwari, I believe, is back with us on the line now, senior Congress leader and former Information and Broadcasting Minister. Manish Tiwari, in the morning you were speaking about how it's surprising that no muscular message, all the aggression that was seen on the campaign trail now seems to be missing when it comes to the Prime Minister's statement vis-a-vis Pakistan. Are you satisfied with what he said now?
Well, the contradiction has become all the more manifest, because if the Prime Minister does indeed believe that Pakistan is waging a proxy war against India, then it begs the question as to why did they invite the Prime Minister of Pakistan for the coronation of this government in the first place. And between that invitation and the coronation taking place on the 26th of May, there was an attack on the Indian consulate in Herat. That should have been the trigger to cancel the invitation to the Prime Minister of Pakistan. But rather than doing that, even after the attack was traced back to the ISI and its instrumentalities, the government did not utter a word. After that, Pakistan has ostensibly gone and deleted the name of Hafiz Saeed from the charge sheet of the 2611 matter. Again, you did not hear a word from this government. There have been over 20 intrusions across the international border and the line of control in the past 2 months. There has not been a whimper from this government
at all. But Manish Tiwari, isn't that